Hey, what's up, everyone? DayTraderRockStar here, doing not an HPS, a market radar, and it's an overview of the market. Some interesting patterns that played out over the last couple of days, and I want to touch base on because I have a theory on some things here. This was today. Today's actually Wednesday. We're going into Thursday tomorrow. Today, basically the trend was down most of the day. We kind of chopped around and ended up closing out flat on the ES. Now, you can take a look here. This is where we are right now. Well, actually, we're off the lows. But, pretty much it was a downward move here off the highs of the day. So it was a pretty decent move down. Now, we're currently short a little with the SPY puts. And I would like to, continue to kind of hold on to those. They go out into July, and we're making some money on those now. But the market is not an easy market to keep down here. And it's hard to be very bearish in this market. I am slightly bearish going into tomorrow. I was bearish going into today and yesterday. And, well, let's take a look at two patterns I noticed. This is actually today's action. Something really interesting happened. We had an initial wedge pattern. There was a lot of chop going on here, a lot of chop going on. We couldn't really determine what was going to happen, but the wedge pattern is always a good one. We popped up here, and then we reversed and came all the way back down. At the time, it was lows. Then we bounced back up, and at this point, we're starting to measure out some patterns and some pivot areas. But this is an interesting one. Whenever you get a nice move down like this, fast move down, this was almost a 10-point move. I remember this. And it was a 10-point move. And then we had this little bounce. Typically, when we get that rotation and this stays embedded down here, which it was trying to do, this breaks down to the downside, and we have a continuation pattern to the downside. So once we got up there, and all of a sudden it just powered forward. It was a little volume spike. I almost suspect it was a buy program. And we start to see that sometimes when the price gets to a level where there's maybe a setup where people are looking for one thing, they'll trigger something else that happens, and then eventually it comes back down. But very strange to see this typical, a very bearish bounce, a little follow through, but then a pop back up, and then it came back down, continued to move down. So this same pattern happened about 11:15 today, happened yesterday too, right around 12 o'clock. So let's go back to yesterday real fast as I scroll through. Alright, that's the overnight trade. That's the overnight. Now we're coming into the close. And there we are right here. So here was that candle, that breakdown. And here's this perfect flag. And you can see we're kind of in bed. I was kind of marking this off. I said, well, we're above that 20 line, so we're not really going to take it. Because it was hold, but it was kind of embedded. We are getting that rotation up. We weren't really seeing, it was a tough one to. It actually moved down a little off of that. It did work fine on this rotation. It was up against this trend line. It pulled back, rotated back into an oversold level, and that's as far as you're going to get on that. But from this flag, we did break higher up to that 200 period moving average, and then the same thing, slowly turned over again. Now let's go forward. You see that? Same exact downward move. Typical nice little channel flag. A big pop up to the 200. Up to the 200. So we'll go back here to 11:30 this morning. I just want to kind of go through this one more time. Just make sure everything's lined up. Yeah, so this actually got up to 200 also. A little through it and then chopped around and eventually broke down through it. So, and interesting. Sometimes, the flag, you get a typical, what looks like a flag, maybe wait for that little break and then short into it, knowing that there is downside. Here we had another flag today, and this was a really nice one because you actually had this downward move, a little channel up, but a divergence defined where the top of that channel. And the divergence, when you have a divergence and a channel, the divergence pretty much represents when that channel is going to break down. So actually there was a couple divergences here. I'm going to show you in just a second here. So you know, seeing these two patterns play out, one playing out the way it normally does, and the other one here getting a little spike. Those little spikes came on volume. So you know, a suspect algorithm, a buy program, something that triggered a move, and you know, remember they're getting a 2 point, maybe a point, but that small move is actually a good sized move if you could actually trigger it and prepare for it and trade it. I'm going to go back one more time. We'll see if that volume spike was on that 1231. Yeah, there was volume coming in here also, right at that spike. All right, well, we go fast forward here a little. 2 o'clock, we actually had a beautiful divergence, a double bottom divergence. This is also where I came in, sat back down in the chair, and saved the market. As RPM was on the air at that time. I got the last laugh on that one. See? RPM's not up at 10:30 defending himself. And then we had some other setups here going into the close, and that's the close right now. Going into tomorrow, let's just take a look at one interesting thing. The cash chart, still, like I said, still have those SPY puts. Great job, Maximilian, today. Also want to give him a shout out. He's been trading awesome, sharing his trades in a room, profiting multiple, you know, what do I even say? Tens of thousands of dollars he makes every day in the market. It's amazing to watch him trade. Baba here. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're talking about the Baba group. He's actually, we were just looking at that at the end of the day. He's also looking, I'll give you a little hint, he's looking at the Broadcom AVGO? The Avgo Broadcom. Very nice. This actually looks good. And I'll touch base on this too, because we know that there's a lot of interest now in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies and the process, the mining and the transactions and everything that goes along with the data mining. It all requires, you know, these semiconductor chips, processing speed. So NVIDIA, AMD, I would even say Broadcom. You know, I'm not sure on how they fit into the thing, but the chip stocks are very strong, and we're really starting to see, you know, a new way of using these chips. Or, you know, I think it's very bullish on the bottom line and in their, you know, in their balance sheet. You know, this is a whole new revenue stream. People are buying up these machines and using these, you know, these processors to make money, and when that happens, well, what you make money with goes up in price also. So these are looking really good for tomorrow. We'll probably be focused on the chips again. Today we actually traded the biotechs, and that was just unbelievable. Look at this. Look at the last 2 days, 3 days on this breakout on Biogen. Now, we had a lot of people in the room getting into those. It was a really good day for this. I took my Alexion off today after a nice pop, and then we also took off the Gilead. We actually had a great trade on Gilead. Big pop. And this is a divergence setup. So divergence there. This actually looks fine going forward. It looks pretty good. But we're talking about the markets and the market radar. You know, still a little negative. This whole pattern that's playing out here, and one of the reasons we're actually getting a little pullback, you can see the momentum has drifted here back under 80. It's never re-challenged the highs here when we were making highs over here. So when we had the highs here or up here, kind of drifted. The market actually popped a little bit higher. And from that point on, it gave a divergence. You know, this started to turn back over. So we have this real kind of shallow micro divergence. Is it going to hold up? Is it the beginning of something? Is the tip of the iceberg starting to show here? That's interesting. That's a big negative on the market. The positive is that 60-minute time frame. This has been also a very organized pullback setup here. I mean, we tracked this on the 5-minute today, which was just incredible. You know, look at the 5-minute pullback, perfect. The lower trend line bounces. perfect, but now you can really see it on the 60-minute time frame. So right now, futures are out here right now. Probably kind of neutral. Not much going on. Down 250. I'm slightly bearish, so I'm not hoping that the market goes down, but just feeling a little weight on this market right now. And sometimes that perfect pattern like we see right now almost looks like a perfect channel. Usually, concentrate on those channels to break to the upside. I also like to see divergence set up in a channel or a double bottom in a channel. So I'd be really interested if we actually tested today's lows tomorrow, held that level, and then start, or even better yet, put some kind of divergence in on one of the time frames. But right now the 60 looks good going forward. You might have even an argument for a 60-minute divergence that you can see a little bump there. And the 15-minute, no, you don't see it on that hourly. But it wouldn't be too, even if we do get a gap down tomorrow, that's the time I would be interested in this market, I think. Wander X, Euro close X. What was? I'm looking in the chat room now. Oh, the Euro close at lunch, at 12:30 to 11:30. Well, one was 11:30. That might fall into that, but the other one was 12:30. And it was just a, you know what, considering it was the ES, we're talking about those two little spikes in the ES, I keep on saying I'm going to get this guest on, and I haven't set it up yet, but I have a feeling that we're going to get those answers. All right, that's it for the evening. I want to send this out. That's kind of an update. And tomorrow, let me see what else we can look at. The semiconductors tomorrow. Alibaba actually does look good. I like this. The Alibaba looks like a nice pop in volume. Wants to take back the highs here, which is around 148. Looking great. AKAM, not much going on there. Corning, I have a feeling that's going to pop very soon. It's holding that 20-period moving average kind of embedded. It's usually a good sign, but we need some kind of catalyst on that. The biotechs and drugs will be active tomorrow either way. Maybe you follow through, maybe not. We'll have to follow those closely. No big divergences there. And it'll be interesting to see how if oil starts to recover. HP put in a little candlestick here after the oil inventory data drove the oil down again. That's it. All right. So we'll see you in the markets tomorrow. Sorry for a late update. It's just going out probably like 11 o'clock. Get it in the morning. Watch it. Thursday morning. Stop this. 13 minutes.